Peter versus Miles, a question that has been floating around for a long time now, since that the new Miles game came out in 2020. But this year in 2023, we finally got our answer, because in the new Spider-Man 2 game, we see Miles beating Peter. So, end of the story. Miles is better than Peter. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like. Who the fuck am I kidding? We all know the truth. Peter wasn't 100% for that fight, and that's what we want to go and find out. Who of the two Spider-Mans is the better one or can beat the other when both are on full strength? So sit back and relax, and we're about to find out. So first things first, I real quickly want to give a shout out to... Yeah, no, I'm not gonna go and try to say your name, I'm gonna butcher it anyways. Thank you for the idea of this video, appreciate it. But let's get into it. In this video we're gonna go and look at two different versions of each Spider-Man. We have Peter with his mechanical spider arms and with the anti-venom / symbiote suit. And for Miles we have him with his bioelectricity powers and with his blue lightning. We will face them in order of the game, so that means that Peter with the mechanical arms versus Miles with his bioelectricity powers are first, and no better time than the present to get into the fight. With first going over what both characters can do and their experience that they both share. Starting with the easy ones, all of their abilities. They both share superhuman strength, Spidey sense, a factor of quick self-healing, superhuman speed combined with superhuman reflexes, also a superhuman form of durability, wall crawling, and at least 4 different gadgets. Now to look at their individual abilities and experience as Spider-Man, starting with Peter. He has his mechanical arms that he can use in 4 different ways. He can use the Spider Barrage, Spider Rush, Spider Shock, and the Spider Whiplash. Not only that, but Peter has 9 years of experience under his belt as Spider-Man. He has fought multiple villains like Wilson Fisk, Sandman, Mysterio, Electro, and the list goes on and on and on. Under this time, he has also learned how to develop his suit better, but not only that, he has also learned how to change his fighting style to fit accordingly to the person that he's fighting at that moment. Now to look at Miles' individual abilities and experience. He has bioelectricity. He can use them, again like Peter, in 4 different ways. He has the Venom Punch, Venom Dash, Venom Smash, and the Venom Jump. But that's not all. Miles also has the power to turn invincible for a short period of time, giving him a chance to sneak up upon his enemies and strike them with a surprise attack. But as experience goes, it's a lot less amazing, only fighting his Uncle Aaron, his friend Finn, and the Rhino, who are all not even close to the same level of enemies that Peter has fought. Maybe you can make a case for Rhino that it was even a stronger Rhino than Peter has fought, but if you look at all the villains that Peter has fought, nah, it doesn't even come close. So now to look at what would happen if they were both fighting each other, as they are both pretty equal at the start of Spider-Man 2 when it comes to their strength, reflexes and so further. But their abilities is where it lies, as 3 out of 4 of Peter's mechanical arms would deal a good amount of damage to Miles if they were able to hit him. And there's where the first problem lies for Peter, as Miles is just a little bit faster than him. And even if that is not the case at that moment, there would be a second problem, and that is that Miles can turn invincible and get the drop on Peter, as we all know that Peter can't see Miles without any form of help. So Miles could just run up on Peter, completely invisible, and use any of his Venom abilities on Peter. And because they are both just as quick as each other, maybe Miles even a tiny bit quicker than Peter, Peter's Spidey sense would not be capable of warning him in time and he would get hit by Miles. So at this point Miles has the upper hand. But here's where the tables turn, as this is not Peter's first time being in a disadvantage. With his 9 years experience as Spider-Man, he will find a way out of this predicament and put himself back at an even playing field. And with his knowledge now that Miles would use his invincibility against him, he would go even on a higher alert every time he couldn't see Miles and try to use his gadgets to the best of his abilities to keep Miles away from him until his invincibility would run run out. Another thing is that Miles would try to counter this, as these gadgets are also his. He knows them and he knows how Peter could use them and try to avoid them. But let's say that Peter was successful in trapping/tricking Miles into going invincible and getting outdone by one of his gadgets. So Peter now has the upper hand, where he could deal a barrage of damage, as Peter is way more experienced in any form of combat than Miles. So Peter would get a great amount of damage in, but too much time has passed by now and Miles is capable of healing and Peter's gadgets are on cooldown at the moment. So we replay this whole scenario where Miles could go invincible and get the drop on Peter, and then again the reverse when Peter gets his gadgets and could deal a great amount of damage to Miles with his mechanical arms and his combat style. And I think we all know where this is going. When looking at everything that has just happened, I think we can all agree to just call this a stalemate. At this point in time in the game, Peter and Miles are just way too similar to each other, and the fact that they are both very smart and would figure out a way to counter the other one's style of fighting, it could only be a stalemate. But there is a second version of this fight, and that is the anti-venom Peter versus the blue lightning Miles. And this is where the fight will end up different than the first. But first we gotta go and take a look at their new powers. And let's start with Miles this time. He again has 4 different abilities. He has his chain lightning, thunderburst, reflex flux, and the galvanize. His experience has also now leveled up, seeing that he has beat a fake Mysterio, Sandman and Venom together with Peter, and of course Martin Lee. But all of that doesn't matter if you see what Peter gained, because Jesus, it's not something little. He now has 6 new abilities that he can use. The anti-venom punch, the anti-venom bomb, anti-venom strike, anti-venom blast, anti-venom tempest, and the anti-venom yank, what is by the way my favorite ability in the game. But that's not all. Like getting 6 new abilities wasn't enough, he is now even stronger, having the power of the symbiote, better reflexes as the symbiote would help Peter sense things quicker, and not to forget his power surge, where he becomes even more stronger, having now almost up to 4 times as much strength as he had before the suit. And don't forget, Peter without the suit still has superhuman strength. But to make it even more powerful, he is now invulnerable during this period. He doesn't take damage from any kind of form, making him completely indestructible when in the power surge mode. But like all of that wasn't enough, his experience has now also leveled up, having now fought Sandman and the Lizard for a second time, but also Rave, Scream, Kraven and Venom together with Miles. So let's not wait any second and go into the second fight. And we all have to go and pay our respects to Miles immediately, because this will be his last fight ever, as there is only one attack that Miles can do against the anti-venom Peter before getting absolutely destroyed, and that is the Thunderburst ability, as this attack is as fast as lightning itself, and Peter even with the suit would not be capable of evading this. And this hit will buy Miles some time to maybe even save himself, as he could try to swing himself as quickly over to Peter and trying to release his Venom Blast, dealing even more damage. And even if after that all the stars are perfectly aligned and God, yes, even God himself will allow it, Miles could get in one more hit, and the most feared one of them all, the triangle square finishing move, knocking Peter down to his last percentage of HP. But remember, this is the best case scenario for Miles, and even here, he is absolutely fucked. Because after all those attacks, Peter decides to activate his power surge, bringing him automatically back up to 50% of his HP and making him 4 times stronger with invulnerability, and he will get right after Miles, but Miles would be smart and turn invincible. Oh shit, yeah, sorry Miles, that shit won't work, as Peter now can see Miles because he has the power of the symbiote, so turning invincible won't help Miles, so it's running killing time Miles, but Miles won't get far as Peter will use his abilities in the perfect order to get Miles as close to him and at the same time deal a great amount of damage, and any form of counter that Miles tries to pull off will either easily be parried by Peter as he is now faster than him, or he will just shrug it off because he is in his power surge mode. And let's say that little bit of offense that Miles gets in, he can heal himself with, but that won't help. As I said before, Peter is now guaranteed to be twice so strong as he was before, and worst case scenario for Miles, 4 times, meaning if he had the chance to heal, it would help for nothing as Peter would remove his HP as fast as he could heal it. But after that, Miles found out that Peter with the symbiote suit is an absolute menace to society. Miles hopefully accepts defeat before he joins his father in a first class seat to heaven. But yeah, if it still isn't obvious, Peter wins this fight with ease, putting an end to this debate. At the start of the game, Miles and Peter will not be capable of taking the other one out, resulting in a stalemate. And in the end of the game, Peter wipes the floor with Miles. But leaving that all behind us, I want to thank you all for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and it would mean the world to me if you also subscribed. Please let me know in the comments who you think is the better Spider-Man, and hopefully until the next time, peace out.